Hi Curious, and welcome back. One topic that has always had people talking is the royal family, and it is no surprise that the Queen's sons were the ones who were always in the limelight, mainly Prince Charles and Prince Andrew, while their sister, Princess Anne, has always been on the side. Yet there is a reason that some have hailed the 70-year-old as the most interesting royal. But while she made some changes in the royal traditions and had a somewhat hilarious reaction to an attempted kidnapping, there are also some negative sides, especially now that she has been called the alleged racist that the royal family that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry spoke about. But how else has she caused controversies? And why has her love life been so talked about? What royal privilege did she deny her children? And is she the only royal with an official criminal record? Stay with us to find out all the information about the Queen's only daughter, but before we continue, don't forget to hit the bell and the subscription button so that you don't miss any of our future videos. Princess Anne was born on August 15th of 1950, and at the time of her birth, she was second in line for the British throne. But now, following the birth of her nephews and their children, she is 14th in the line of the succession. But do you Curious think that being the only daughter of the monarch, she might have been her favorite? Well, while many parents will be quick to say that they can't pick a favorite, secretly there is that one child that they probably like a little bit more. And many had speculated that Anne was actually Prince Philip's favorite, and something that the Netflix series The Crown touched upon, and this has been allegedly confirmed by sources close to the royal family that has claimed that she is in fact his favorite. As the daughter of the Queen, she was given the title of the Princess at birth, and then in 1987 her mother had granted Anne an additional title of Princess Royal, and this is a title that Princess Charlotte will most likely inherit once Prince William will become king. But it is not automatic, as royal writer Duncan Lacombe told Town and Country magazine. The title remains for life, so it will only be after Anne's passing that William's daughter will be able to inherit it. But now, back to the story focusing on the princess. Before we move on to talk about any scandals involving her, it is worth pointing out that she is considered to be one of the busiest royals, and according to Vanity Fair in 2019, she had attended over 500 royal engagements, and she has entered public life when she was 18 years old, and to this day, she continues to serve as a working royal, being involved with as many as 300 different charity organizations. But while being busy, she also manages to look good, and many had noted that Princess Anne was considered to be quite the trendsetter in an interview with Vanity Fair. British Vogue editor Edward Enniful said that she is a true style icon and that her style is timeless, and he also added that she wears a tailored suit better than anyone else he could think of. Like quite a few members of the royal family, Princess Anne is a keen equestrian, but seeing how she doesn't like to waste her time, she decided to make her enjoyment of it something more than a hobby, and that is how in 1976 she participated in the Montreal Olympic Games, obviously as an equestrian. Even though she didn't win a medal, that date marked the first time a British royal took part in the Olympic Games. Now she serves as the president of the British Olympic Association and is a member of the International Olympic Committee. Fun fact for you Curious, in 2012, her daughter, Zara Tindall, also an equestrian, completed the 2012 Olympic Games, and on top of that, she won a silver medal, which her mother presented her with. And speaking of her daughter, this brings us to her private life, as Anne had also made the tabloids where her love life is concerned. First, in the early 70s, the Queen's daughter was romantically linked to a fellow equestrian and gold medal winner, Richard Meade. If the two were in fact ever together, it is unclear for how long or how serious the nature of their relationship was, but reports at the time suggested that it was just a short stint. Here Curious, we will surprise you when we tell you that Charles wasn't the only one who went after Parker Bowles, because in the 70s there was also speculations about an alleged romance between Anne and Andrew Parker Bowles, though as we are well aware, he later went on to marry Camilla Shand, who then in turn later, after their divorce, would marry Prince Charles. And if you want to know more about the Parker Bowles children and how they feel being part of the royal family, you can do so by clicking on the link above. But for now, stay with us to learn more about Anne and some of the other controversial things that she had done. Though despite all those rumors, on November 14th of 1973, she married her first husband, former military officer and fellow equestrian Mark Phillips, after reportedly having met at a party for horse lovers in '68. The couple had two children, Peter born in 1977 and Zara born in 1981, and it is upon the birth of her children that Anne had broken a royal tradition. The Queen had offered them the titles, but Anne had turned them down. Now, if you might be wondering, why would she do that? Well, Well, last year, she gave her reason for this to Vanity Fair magazine and said that she thought it would be easier for them, as she thinks that many people would argue that there are downsides to having titles. So what do you think of her choice, Curious? Though their relationship wasn't meant to be. Prior to making their split official, they had both been romantically linked to other people, and one of them was her romance with her bodyguard, Sergeant Peter Cross. And this is something that the Crown touched upon and actually got right. What happened after that was just like the show depicted. He was removed from his post as personal security, and actually the two continued seeing each other until their affair became public. And as the Express reported at the time, it was when Anne ended things. But the show left out one juicy detail. As the Cross had reported, Anne had used a pseudonym when calling him, and what was it? Mrs. Wallace. This could be taken as a sly reference to Wallis Simpson, the American wife for whom Great Uncle Edward abdicated the throne, about whom we also have a video. Whether that was the reason for their separation or something else that was unknown, and the two separated in '89, and then by 1992, their divorce was finalized. Her next romance was another tabloid fodder, and to begin with, heavily criticized. Per a 1989 story from People magazine, Princess Anne and Timothy Lawrence grew close when he became an officer in the Queen's Query, and 4 intimate letters that he wrote to her were stolen, and they were the reason for the story that became so public. The writing suggested that their close friendship had developed into something deeper. And ultimately, Buckingham Palace confirmed the existence of the letters on December 12th, the very same year that her divorce from Phillips was finalized. Unlike some royal weddings, which most of you curious are aware, and the grand spectacles, Princess Anne's second wedding was actually much more intimate, attended by just 30 people, which included her parents and brothers, among others. Though it is worth noting that a relationship that was a tabloid fodder and the media controversy that had grown into it was the most enduring of the royal family, with the two of them having the second longest marriage of all the royal family right after the Queen and Prince Philip. However, there are many more stories where Princess Anne is concerned, like the time that she nearly got kidnapped in March of 1974. She was returning from a charity event when her chauffeur had to stop the car because another vehicle was blocking their way, and that is when a man named Ian Ball got out of the car and said he had shot her driver. And when Ball demanded that Anne gets out of the car in an attempt to kidnap her, she refused and famously said, "Not bloody likely." And now that we know that this sounds crazy, she had remained this calm, but talking with the show host Michael Parkinson in 1980, she said that she was polite as it was silly to be rude at a stage and at a situation that could have easily escalated even more, so instead she just kept Ian talking until help could arrive. And during that encounter, he injured 4 more men and was arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping and an attempt to take someone's life, and in the end being sentenced to 41 years at a high-security psychiatric hospital. Speaking of the law itself, there had been many times when the princess got in trouble herself, albeit being nothing severe, but back in 1972, police had given Anne a warning for going over the speed limit, and in 77 she was fined for a similar incident. This repeated in 1990, but this time she was only fined but also banned from driving for a month and allegedly telling officers that she was late for an engagement, and then she ran into trouble once again in 2001 when she was fined over $500 for driving 93 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone. Her excuse at the time, Anne said that she thought that the police chasing her was just the police escort to an event, and this just shows that not even the royal family is above the law. But those speeding tickets are not the reason why she has a criminal record. And yes, you heard that right, so sit back and relax as we will tell you why that has happened. The incident took place in April of 2002 in Windsor Great Park when she was walking with her husband and their bull terrier. According to a report from The Sun at the time, the dog got loose and bit 2 children who were aged 7 and 12 at the time. Anne had apologized and took the children to the hospital according to the prosecutor, but charges were still brought against the royal under the Dangerous Dogs Acts in the end. The princess pleaded guilty and paid a $785 fine, though according to a report from the Washington Post, the family of the kids did not think justice was served as the dog was still free and a danger to society. And while Princess Anne was never criticized much in public besides her romances, she recently has come under fire allegedly, and she is the senior royal making racist remarks about Princess Harry and Meghan Markle's son. UK socialite and royal author Lady Colin Campbell has claimed that it was Harry's aunt, and in a new video that posted on her YouTube, she said that she knew who it was for a while now, and Campbell also claimed that the princess knew, and we quote here, what Meghan was from the word go. and Campbell claims Anne objected to her nephew's relationship with Meghan on the basis of a conduct and character, which she claims Harry interpreted as concerns about Meghan's race. Lady Colin claimed 3 separate sources had confirmed that her conversation had been twisted, and continuing to talk about Meghan, she also went on to say, and we quote here again, Harry ran to Meghan with the objections. Meghan weaponized them on the grounds of color, and we're looking at people who are very eager to spot a slight doubt where doubtless does not exist. So tell me, what do you think, Curious? Do you believe that what Princess Anne had said was twisted around and was far from what was reported on the Oprah interview? And did you know about the attempted kidnapping? And do you reckon that she was Prince Philip's favorite child? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our future videos. Until next time!